Welcome back to Stu Studio, Conservative Takes on Music. This past weekend was the Stagecoach Music Festival in Indio, California. Stagecoach was started back in 2007 as a counterpart to Coachella. Obviously, it's not as big as Coachella, it doesn't really compare. And being a country festival, much less of the budget is put towards production. But a lot of this past weekend has been compared to Coachella. One of the first things that I saw online was what some people called the Stagecoach effect, and they compared everyone on their phones at Coachella recording the sets to the audience at Stagecoach where almost no one was on their phone. And they were just enjoying the moment. I think that's kind of inherent for something like Stagecoach and country music in general, is that you're not there for the publicity or for the image, you're there to enjoy it. But here are some of the notable moments from Stagecoach 2026. One of the most talked about sets was Ella Langley's set. She played a bunch of her hits like Choosin' Texas, I Can't Love You Anymore, Weren't for the Wind, but the biggest standout moment is when she brought Theo Von on stage. Now, I didn't know that Theo Von was associated with country music. I guess based on his voice and his accent, you might assume that he grew up listening to it, but I haven't seen any direct connection before this. And he seemed to really enjoy himself. I mean, it's not like he sounded like a professional singer, but he sounded okay. And I guess many people have pointed out the chemistry that Ella and Theo had on Theo's podcast, which might be why she brought him along. Maybe there's a future there. Sydney Sweeney had a karaoke booth for her new lingerie line called Siren, spelt not like siren. So there are a bunch of viral clips of her singing songs at her karaoke booth. She was throwing lingerie from the stage into the crowd, which I guess makes sense. If you have a lingerie line, might as well give out some free samples. But I'm guessing most of those weren't caught by women who wanted to try it out. And she had some celebrities singing karaoke in her lingerie booth. But people also noticed that she was in the audience on Scooter Braun's shoulders, who I guess is now confirmed to be her boyfriend. Like, I didn't think that she deserved a canceling for the American Eagle ads or refusing to apologize for them, but picking Scooter Braun as your next man is pretty scummy. I'm surprised that he can even show his face at something like Stagecoach. You would think that all the Swifties and old Taylor Swift country fans would have pushed him out of the festival. I don't know what kind of rebrand he's going through. Maybe he's relying on Sydney Sweeney to help him out with it, but I'm not willing to extend the grace just yet. Diplo's Honky Tonk Club was blasting country remixes for almost the whole festival. But something really fun is that they did an emo night collaboration and they brought in 303 as guests. And growing up in Boulder, that's a little bit of a big deal for me, although I think I've seen them enough times already. Now, like Theo Von, I don't really know Diplo's connection to country music or the country music scene, but his enthusiasm seemed genuine. Probably the runner-up for the most talked about set was the Night 2 headliner, Lainey Wilson. And what's brought it into the forefront of discussion most is that it was almost canceled due to high winds. I know that Indio winds are infamous throughout California and even the country. And the festival screens were flashing a red "Please Evacuate" sign ahead of her set. So some festival attendees even started going home. But then it was announced that she would have a set. So after all the winds died down, she took the stage around 10:30 p.m., an hour after she was scheduled to, and it sounds like she just rocked it. Her set was 90 minutes and 12 songs long, and she even gave some respect to the artists whose sets were canceled, like Little Big Town and Riley Green, who had a moment covering Merle Haggard's Just Sit Here and Drink. And Riley performed his song I Wish Grandpa's Never Died all by himself on stage before the headliner took over. Some other fun moments were Hootie and the Blowfish. I guess Darius Rucker is country, but I didn't know that Hootie would be. Bringing out Public Enemy on stage. Teddy Swims brought out David Lee Roth to sing Jump by Van Halen, which he obviously overperformed. You would expect nothing less. Third Eye Blind had a performance, and Tom Hanks was even in the crowd enjoying his son Chet's performance. Well, I'm glad he still loves his son even after he blew up with the White Boy Summer a couple years ago and got himself in some political hot water, but you love seeing a proud dad. And the biggest set, probably obviously, was the final set of the weekend, Post Malone. Posty was decked out head to toe in denim and had countless Bud Light minis that are Post Malone branded. I don't know if he got paid to have that much beer on stage or if he'll make it back later in royalties. Post Malone's set was 16 songs and included originals and covers of Garth Brooks, Hank Williams Jr., George Strait, Kenny Chesney, and he finished the whole thing off with such a patriotic rendition of Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. His surprise guests were Jake Worthington, Braxton Keith, and Shabuzi. And coming from a pop and hip-hop background, he's obviously a showman, and he can own the stage, and he did nothing short of that. He is also the first person in history to headline both Coachella and Stagecoach. My main takeaways of this festival are just how different it is from Coachella. I was gonna say the attendees were classier, but it looks like there were 119 arrests over the 3 days, most of which being minors in possession, another large portion being fake IDs, and then still a large number being fraudulent handicap tags, which, come on, victimless crime. I shouldn't say that. But when you're comparing it to something like Coachella, the biggest controversy of Stagecoach would be something like Sydney Sweeney dating Scooter Braun, or throwing underwear, or having a different corset for every hour of the day. It's nothing like Coachella, where Sabrina Carpenter had to apologize for accidentally mocking another culture, or everybody hated the headliner set because he spent half the time on his computer. This was country music held to its highest standard. There might be some people who think that Post Malone is fake country, but it's just new age country and he's doing it really well, with all due respect paid to the history of the genre. Attendees weren't miserable waiting 4 hours in line for a shower, spending thousands of dollars for a tent, or telling people they were never going to go back. Overall, something like Stagecoach delivers what it promises, and I believe that's just classic country. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Stu Studio, and remember, Jesus loves you.